He person who is very short-tempered, and he always, he's in a sense of discipline. He says, it makes sure that silence is there, and sometimes he gets angry. So I've seen that anger 2, 3 times. So I wrote a letter to him directly. I said, Swamiji, you're a Gita teacher, and in public, if you become angry, then it does not justify the Gita that you teach and all that. So I wrote one long letter to him. I think 3, 4 weeks later, he wrote back a letter to me, and I still have the letter with me, which I framed it up also because I quite treasure his very, very appropriate responses. He said, Dear Suresh, I received your letter some weeks back. He told me very nicely, he said, you must get into anger, but don't let anger get into you. Contemplate on these lines. They're very deep. Any more data that I give you will only be insulting your intelligence. I still remember that. So you must get into anger, but don't let anger get into you. So I think this is where this is a nice wordplay that tells us that sometimes in life, in order to instill a sense of discipline, we may need to show that we're angry, but we must not get emotionally affected, because that can have a deep impact on our health. Anger has got a very profound effect on our health. And each time we have an angry bout, it releases toxins in our body, So this is what Swami Chinmayanda said in that letter to me.
Sairam, just like to add on, sometimes we need to learn how to cultivate other positive emotions like kindness, love, compassion, joy. So when we work, most of us, we do not sit down every day in meditation and try to cultivate positive emotions. Most of us have positive emotions from external sources and external validation, like you get a new iPhone, or you get a promotion, or you go and watch a movie, or your first child or second child, or your child gets married. It's always an external event which is igniting the positive emotions within you. The moment you start to take charge of this cultivation of positive emotions, it gives you control over other emotions as well. So the same situation which can ignite anger in person A because he does not cultivate enough loving kindness in his mind will so the same situation in person B, the person might not react in anger, but that person might react in compassion, or not even react, he might even respond with compassion and kindness. This is because what reacts? It is not the Atma which reacts or will respond, it's the mind which reacts or mind which responds. So if the mind is reacting and the mind is responding, then why can't we sit down and cultivate positive emotions every day? So by doing this, like what brother, eventually you'll come to a stage where what used to ignite anger in you, what used to make you very angry and fretful and whatnot, no longer controls you anymore. You become the master of the situation instead of the situation being the master of you. So this is the main core of meditation. And if you look at it, Jyoti meditation provides everyone. That's why Swami keeps on telling it's the simplest, surest, safest way for us to reach to self-realization. And why? Because when you send the Jyoti outside, who are you sending to? You are sending this light of love to your family members, to your friends, to all your pets, to your plants, to your possessions, to your friends, and even your enemies. You're sending this love, and then you even expand this love even beyond your family members, to people in the state, in your community, till the entire earth even animals, sea creatures, the entire mountain, inanimate objects, everything is engulfed by this love, light of love. And then you expand it even beyond the earth to encompass the entire universe, and the galaxy. So as you keep on doing this, you're cultivating so much of strong positive emotion, which can easily displace emotions such as anger. Not to say anger will not come in your experience, it doesn't work like that. But you will start to perceive things in a more loving way, in a more kind way. So if, let's say, any one of you wants to learn more about Jyoti meditation, and if you want to know, if you're struggling with it, and if you want to learn more, we will be having a silent retreat, where this time around we are focusing on how we can enhance our self-love, self-compassion, and so that we can all practice Jyoti meditation to a certain extent, and cultivate positive emotions, and ultimately realize, to reach self-realization. Sai Ramnan.
Saira, I just wanted to add few things. That once a student asked Swami that what is the cause of attraction? Because creation is there, and creation or anything, like suppose any worldly thing, a vase or some article or clothes we see in the market. So Swami said there is no flaw in creation. There is no flaw in Srishti. There is only flaw in Drishti. Drishti means vision. So what happens is that suppose we see a nice dress or something, or suppose we see something which is material thing, and once we see, eyes gives impulse, and then we say, I must have it, because the love is generated towards that object, and we want to have it. But Swami says, why can't you love the thing when it is there in the showroom? Why can't you love it when it is there in the way it is? So he says it is because we have a feeling of inadequacy, saying that if I don't have it, because that we think that it is separate from me, and if I don't have it, I will lose it. And that is how the attraction causes these sort of things, that if I don't get, I will be angry. If I don't, so like in the case of these sort of things also, like discipline and all, the teacher is so much engrossed with the following the discipline, that if it is not his idea of discipline the way he thinks it is, and then if it is not followed, he gets angry. So idea is that Brother Savitan said that the way if we can encompass that atmosphere with lot of selfless love, I think that will reduce the love, the anger, or the possession to our ideas, to the material, to the things, and we will be able to overcome those sort of emotions. So, I like the line which Swami said. There is no fault in in Srishti. The only fault is in Drishti. So if we can change our Drishti, means the way our mind is thinking that this has to be done like this, has to be punctual like this. Sometimes it so happen that person may not be in a good frame to come or something like that. Like in the story of Janaka, that he used to always come to his guru very late, and the guru used to wait for him to start the lesson. So a lot of disciples, they got angry on him, and he said that why you are giving so preference, because Janaka is a king or something like that. So the guru wanted to teach a lesson, and he said that he created smoke and far off, and said your villages and everything is fire when they all were sitting in meditation. And the people, the moment they heard, they start running towards village and saying that something, everything is secured there. But King Janaka stood there steadily, because he knew that one day everything has to go, even the house, the kingdom, and everything. And when all these disciples returned back they saw Janaka still sitting. Then teacher told that this is what the basic teaching is, that if you start following the feeling of renunciation, these things will not worry. In the same of in the question of this discipline, in the question of other things also, we have to tell the things in a very proper way, nice way, in a convincing way, and in a loving way. I think that anger will reduce and it will have a very positive change, which I think. Like that.
Sairam, brother. This we all know that our inner enemies. We've got 6 inner enemies, and we have been taught how to overcome these enemies, the 6 inner enemies, and anger is at the top. So during Navaratri Puja and all that, we go through the 9 days and we try as much as possible to control and manage these anger, this lust, greed, cheating, deception, the inner enemies. So the inner enemies are there, they are latent. We have got to take an approach so that we are able to manage it. What happens if we don't? In situations of stress, you will get into pressure and stress, and this continuously, if it goes on, you will not be able to manage your emotions. And as a result, you may do things without reason or logic. And then the consequence of that act could be very, very, it could have severe implications. Like what? Depending on the situation. Example, there's a boy who loves his girl. And this chap comes from a family where everybody has got temper. Because the father drinks, he's an alcoholic, and a lot of financial problems in the house. And this boy is not settled. He's emotionally troubled. And he can't take stress. So his girlfriend breaks off from him. So he's in such a situation that he cannot miss her. He wants her. So what does he do? Instead of thinking deeply about the situation, he goes straight for the boy who has come into the life of the girl. And then there is a big fight. And in the fight, he would not use reason, but he will use anything in order to give the other person physical injuries in order to teach him a lesson. Why that happened is because he was not able to manage his stress. He was angry, and during the period of the anger, the intellect doesn't function at all. So this is where, like Brother Suresh just now said, you can get into anger, but don't let anger get into you. That is an example of a case where the man or the boy has lost his emotions. Similarly, in the case of a financial pressure, the father is supposed to send money to his son who's studying overseas. And for a few months, he wasn't able to send. And the boy who's studying overseas gets into severe financial block. It blocks him everywhere. He's not eating, he's not socializing, he is not able to pay his fees, and also he gets into a stress, affects his performance. At that time, if somebody goes and disturbs him, he loses his temper and gets physical because he's not able to manage the stress. And there are lots of cases, people of menial workers' children, or even farmers, when an incident like that takes place, because they don't rely on religion or prayers, they will just rely on themselves in order to sort or resolve the matter. So in a situation which takes place, and they interpret that conduct as shaming the family, they would resort to a physical action because anger has crept into them and they were not able to manage the situation as they ought to. Bearing in mind, they're all familiar with the law, that there is such a thing as law, that if anything happens, they might be charged in court, prosecuted, and they might get a conviction and serve jail sentence. Or even for serious offenses, they might get into a predicament, which can affect the family. They know these things are there, yet they get into that range where they just lose themselves and then they get into problems. So the point is anger, which comes from stress, and then the stress they cannot manage, and then they lose themselves. Such people have got weak emotional intelligence. So in schools, we can recognize these and we can organize them in sports and games, music and debates. We give them like photography or other gardening in order to keep themselves occupied, and then let them have the pleasure of coming through certain amount of success from their efforts, which can improve over a period of time. And after a year or two, when they see the fruits of their efforts, they can see success, they can see happiness. So that emotional part has been well organized. That means they're able to contain that. So they come out as better boys or better girls. And when they pass this period from school, after sitting for exams and all that, they will have a certain personality where they are ready to take to college or go for some other apprenticeship in order to be gainfully employed in the future. So what has Swami has done? Swami has given us right from the beginning at Bhagavad class itself, how he has started us with the silent sitting, with the stories, with the human values, all that which is all a bundle. It's a very nice chapter in life from Bhagavad class. Then you go to the higher level until they finish at 18. You find that they've been put through a stream where they graduate with realization. They graduate with happiness. They are able to talk softly. They're able to appreciate bhajans. They're able to recognize Swami's teachings. They have seen the parents going for service activities, and then they participate themselves. And their watchful teachers will just nip the bud if they see anything which is not regular in their students, right from Bhagavad class. And so that helps. So what I'm saying is there must be opportunities open for everybody, because everybody has got that latent negative qualities which can blow out of proportions if it is not managed, or if it is not exposed, or if it is not, to use the word, they can be trained or are educated in such a way that that issue, that latent thing will not come out to be traumatic. So they can manage that as they pass through life, pass through the stages. So a lot of people in the world, when they drop school, they don't have these kind of opportunities. So we have got to go in search of them, or even if we confront them, we have got to reserve or keep this temper within ourselves. We got to be understanding, bring out the love, bring out the 5 values within us, so that we can witness a person who's going through this trauma, and then silently we can pray, or we can connect with them in order to get them into this normal curve. So that is an opportunity. So we should not hit them because of their negative traits, but we should give them an opportunity to come out from the negative traits, which we are all very familiar with, which at one time we were not familiar, but later we became familiar. And then we make it as part and parcel of our lifestyle. So that helps us to overcome. So emotional intelligence has slowly been well contained. So we are able to make reason, live with reason, live with love, and we are able to take negative situations in a way that would harmonize living with everybody. So that could be an ideal way of life. Sairam, brother.
Sairam, brother, thank you so much for those words. Quite an elaborate explanation on the need not to get angry. Thank you so much. So let's go on. Today, believe whose turn will it be?
Today, Sister Bu still carry on with the last part of the session. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Brother Billy. Yeah. Okay, just let me share screen first. Can you see the screen?
Yeah. Coming up.
Side. All right. I think we will read Swami's message again and the questions before we continue from last week. Okay, Sai Rama. So can we request Sister Kamlesh to help us read Swami's message? Sister Kamlesh?
Yes, Sister Sairam.
Can you see the screen, Kenna? Okay, all right.
Yes, can, Sister. Sairam, everyone. And I think, should I increase? Okay. The message it's from Brahma to Brahma, from illusion or doubts to God. From where did this manas, the mind, the buddhi, the intellect, the chitta, memory, and the ahankar, the ego, originate? How do they grow and where do they merge themselves? That is Brahma, that is Atma. That being the case, how can you discover your source or your true self by searching for it elsewhere than within you? Such a search is like that of a thief putting on the uniform of a policeman and searching for the thief. To know your own self, why do you need any other sadhanas? There is a story which illustrates the absurdity of such a situation. 10 ignorant people who were on their way for a pilgrimage attempted to cross a river. After crossing the river, they wanted to assure themselves whether all the 10 had crossed the river. One man started counting and noted that only 9 had crossed. Sairam, sister, just. Sairam, sister, can you hear me? Please change the page.
Okay. Is that okay?
No, it's still the same one.
Yes, I can hear
Same.
you. Is that okay? Yes,
I finished
yes,
reading
it's
this.
here. Oh,
Need to scroll
is
the
it?
page.
I finished reading this page.
Yeah.
It's not moving, right?
I'm rolling.
Yes,
it's not moving.
Now got it, yes.
Oh dear. Wonder what happened.
Yeah, okay. Yes, whether, yes.
I need to
So one,
move up a
I
bit
think
for me
it's,
to continue. Yeah.
yeah,
that
it's okay. Yes, I've,
You all right.
I can start from little above. Can you please go down a bit? Scroll down, yeah.
Little above, huh?
One, a little more.
Down, okay.
A little more down. Yeah, that's it. Yes. So one man started counting and
All right,
noted that
thank you.
only 9 had crossed the river and started wailing. It's gone up. And started wailing that one man was missing. So another man also, I will just say it in my own words then. So another man started counting and he also counted that 9 had crossed the river and one man was missing. So each of them counted the others in the same manner, leaving out himself, and found one man missing. A passerby noticed their plight and inquired them the cause of their distress. They all said that one of the 10 in their group had been lost in the river. The intelligent traveler found that while counting, each one had left out himself and counted only the remaining 9. Lining them up in a row, he counted all the 10 and revealed to them that earlier at each count, the man doing the counting had left himself out. This indicates that the individual who is not aware of himself cannot understand anything aright. When you are yourself the Atma, if you pray to someone outside, how can you recognize your own self, the Atma? The questions I will read, Sister Jenny. I will read the questions now. Can you just move a little, scroll down? Sister Jenny. Sister Jenny, please. Scroll down a little more.
Yes,
Can I
yes.
read the questions now? Okay. Question 1 is,
Can
how
you see
does a
it now?
person undertake the sadhana
Yeah,
of
I'm
this?
scrolling, but can you see?
No, it's only
Yeah.
one line. It's gone.
Maybe let me share and see. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right.
Yes,
Can you?
questions,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So there are 2 questions to it. Number 1 is, how does a person undertake the sadhana of discovering and knowing your own self?
Hello.
Number 2, what is the outlook of a person who is aware of him or herself? How does that person lead his or her life in the world? Sairam, sister, I'm done. I think we need to scroll down to page 2. Yeah. Sister Ginny, do I read more? I think this is...
Yeah, I think Sister Jeannie may have some problem with her internet.
She has a problem with her internet also.
Yeah, that's right. So let's see. Sister Jeannie, are you on? Okay, I think maybe while waiting for her to come on, let me just quickly run through. Okay, question 1. Earlier,
I
I think this must have been done in the earlier.
We have finished. We are just at the end of our presentation. That's what we have to go down.
page 9,
but I don't remember where we ended.
She mentioned page 9. Let me see. Okay. This page 8.
I think this one we also finished.
Yep. Page 9. Yeah. I think this was the last page last week. And this is the, we're starting at page 10, I think. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like we can start from here.
Okay.
Sister Kamlesh can read this.
Okay. So this example, there's one example. The sun is shining and it evaporates the water of the ocean to make the clouds. But the clouds by themselves have come in between the earth and the water and the sun. The sun cannot be seen if the clouds are there. We human beings know that the sun is there. It's only the clouds which are not allowing us to see through it. to see the sun. Those clouds are the illusions, the Brahma. If we can be very firm in our knowledge of what God is, with sharp discrimination, we will know what is right, what is wrong, and good, and what is bad, what we have to practice and what we should not practice. So if we can have this sharp discrimination, then we are already going towards Brahma. We will not have any drama, any confusions or delusions that will stop us from going on the path to Brahma. And that is the righteous path, the truthful path. Sai Ram. Radha Manoj, it's your turn. Anybody wants to discuss upon this point?
Saram sister, the thing in life is sometimes everything is new to us. So at times we are caught in situation where there are different opinions, different view. And it's difficult sometimes to know what is the right path or what's the right thing to do until we jump into it, you know. So in life, sometimes like you might, or maybe the group might have decided wrong approach, right? But then it's also for us to correct ourselves, right? Of course, it's the right path is okay, you know. Even we are discrimination, we limited, you know, we are very limited in that sense because it's a new challenges. You know? So as you say, we do our best using our wisdom and discrimination. But actually, it's also not easy. But also, we should not be should not blame ourselves or regret over making the wrong decision or what, but rather to move forward and improve on it. Sairam.
Sairam, any other comments?
Here it talks about if we can have this sharp discrimination, how do we develop this sharp discrimination?
The process of making unfair.
In the Gita, there's one sloka which states that if we continue to do our actions and keep dedicating to God, one quality that will predominantly be developing is the discrimination. So it's a very powerful statement that tells us the quality that will continuously be developed is the discrimination if we dedicate our action to God and focus on God and dedicate to God. So the discrimination actually develops. And as a result of that, another quality that we develop along with is foresightedness. So one is discrimination, another is foresightedness. So both of that is what that enables people to foresee what can possibly happen and then respond to that particular thing. That means we're living with a wisdom. So that clarity comes in like that. So this is why the Gita was given to Arjuna, because of his ability to have foresightedness also. So this is a spiritual quality that we must develop. So sometimes when we make the wrong decision, we need to analyze why the decision was made wrong, not because the decision was wrong. Why did we make that decision that was wrong? So what was the biasness in our decision-making process? Why couldn't we see certain things that was now becomes obvious, but at that time it was not obvious? So where is that veil of illusion that blocked us from having that clarity? So we need to do a post-mortem on the decision made and learn from that wisdom so that we can sharpen that process, sharpen that experience for our own benefit. I think this is how we should do the training. So that means not to say we should not make mistakes, but we must learn from that mistake so that similar things don't take place in the future. Yeah.
Okay.
Raman, in my personal experience, I feel another way how we can enhance our discrimination, to sharpen our discrimination, I would say is through Atma Vichara. So the more, all the books that we read, the knowledge that we get from participating from satsangs and and all the numerous books that we have out there, it's almost impossible for us to know everything, right? So and if you just want to read everything, it'll take lifetime for you to even read. And what is the assurance that even after you read that you will get the right thing? So in my experience, the best way to in just my experience only, the best way I develop sharpen my discrimination is through Atma Vichara. So when you sit quietly in meditation, and then you start to you deny what is not you, and then you keep on going again and again and again and again and again, and then until it leads you to a very deep state of silence. And then that silence does not just, it's just not silence. It is that which, once you know that, every time when you are out and you are walking and you know what is right, what is not right, because what brings you closer to yourself, that is what is beneficial for us. What brings you away from your the capital self, that is what we want to stay away from. And this discrimination naturally will start to blossom the moment you stay in the self for longer and longer periods of time during your meditation and your self-inquiry. So this is my experience, Anessa.
Saira, I don't remember. There's a Sanskrit sloka which I can't recall now, but it has given the 7 or 8 qualities of dharma, where aste, kshama, and all these things are the basic qualities which needs to be practiced. Like sometimes it so happens that some rituals are not connected with Shama or Daya or something like that. So these the pillars of the dharma can be taken as a reference to sharpen our intellect, because what happens is that we interpret things in certain circumstances and we feel that this is right and we can do it. But we have to go back to the basic law of Shama, Daya, Sthiti, that is Dharya, and all these things to define that whether I'm following this, these are the basic tenets of dharma. And if I'm not following, means there is something wrong in my interpretation. And I should still dig into it to go closer to what is written for the dharma. I'll get that shloka later on next time. But very nicely, one of the teacher he told me that this is where these are the pillars of dharma, and this is where all the dharmas of the world can be defined, which is given in that Sanskrit sloka. Sairam.
Sairam, Sister Boo is back, but you're muted, Sister Boo.
Yeah. I am muted already,
Oh,
but
okay.
my screen is very blur. I
Okay.
can't see much. Yeah, so we need your help.
Can,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Thank you, brother.
Right.
So yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Next paragraph.
I have to read something which I have told in the meeting. That a person in India who used to act in a drama playing the part of a very spiritual guru. On the last day of his drama, he told his wife not to go and watch the drama. This is a true story. But the wife wanted to know why her husband told her not to come. So on the last day of the drama, where the spiritual guru he was playing was to take sannyasa, that renunciation. It so happened that impact of the character was so strong on him. The very next day, he didn't come home, but came instead with a begging bowl to ask for food. The actor took sannyasa just by acting the part of that spiritual guru. If it was normal actor, he would have taken it that as acting and was over and now over. And now I'm back to my family life and eat and live and sleep. It struck my mind that dharma of a person was totally totally gone when he was acting. That is that was quite a special person. He acted in the stage and he did it in the real life. And I was reading the story that this man, after leaving his wife and the very next day of the drama, he has opened a lot of charitable trust and everything because of his activity, spiritual activity. And a lot of institutions are running in that area of North India with his name, and it's very popular. So this is what I think. Sometimes it so happened when, like as Brother Suresh was mentioning once, that when he was in New Zealand and the drama was being held, and the character of Duryodhana and the other actors, he talked to them, and then they could find that the acting which they were doing was going slowly into their mindset. So this is what happens when we do the role of something which is not very correct. So that personification affects our internal things also. So even if you're acting, if you're doing, if you can do it in a detached way, I think it will help us and the people, that when you do things in detached way, the effect not only it results you, but also the other person also, even though you're doing something wrong or something not very good, they will also have that sort of feeling, because you're conveying through your soul and it goes to other people. So this is what I must have shared the story in our discussion. Saira.
I'm just thinking about this, that when we write drama script, we got to be very careful with the role and not to overdo the negative part of it, because that can have an effect on the actor himself, okay?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
But I
Suresh?
think, yes, Suresh, yeah, he has more experience.
Yeah. So basically, that is very true. Like in India, the Kathakali and all that, whenever you put on a negative character's role, there is a way of dismantling yourself from the role. That means at the end of the day, when you finish your play, you take out your mask, there's a way to cut the energy. Because when you hold the role and act accordingly, you attract that energy. As I mentioned to you about that, not New Zealand, it's in Australia, that play where they were doing Mahabharata. This boy was acting 6 months. The play was 6 months, and they had staged the play for 3.5 hours, full length, non-stop. So 6 months they rehearsed and they showed the play, and we saw the whole play in the night, and it was so beautiful. It was really amazing. But the Dushasana's character was really evil. Very, very evil. I couldn't imagine that role, how they would have played that role, but it was so realistic. So next day, my topic was, I'm supposed to speak next day, and my topic was, as the mind, so the man, and it was going to start at 10:30. So I just went to the washroom to wash my face. Guess who came in? Dushasana came into the washroom. I told him, wow, you acted so well yesterday. It was really, really real. Suddenly I thought, hey, how was your life now? What has your life been now? And he told me, it's so startling. And he said, my brother, last 6 months, I went through hell, I was a vegetarian. Now I'm not a vegetarian. I was never in a relationship. Everything was okay. Now I'm in a relationship. I have a fight with my mother. My mother doesn't now. She and I we stay together, but she doesn't talk to me. I don't talk to her. I lost my job. I'm just waiting for this role to finish. I'm just waiting for today's job to go over, so that I want to give. He narrated to me all the sad incident. Just as he was finishing the story, guess who? Arjuna came into the washroom. Hey, yesterday you acted so nice. So tell me about your life. And he said all the positive things, all the good things that have happened in his life. So I said, listen, 10:30, I'm going to give a talk. If I call you, will you come to the stage? Both of them said, okay. Then both of them came and narrated their experiences. And that was already a proof that the topic is as the mind, so the man. So I didn't have to talk too much. They demonstrated by evidence. So yes, if you pick up a role and we start acting that role and start believing that role, we would mimic that. In Baba's place also, you notice the negative roles are never emphasized, and it was always positive, and the negative they'll jump that portion of it, not to demonstrate that for the students. So we have to be careful. In the place that we do also, most of the time, we do our place in Prashanti Nilayam and all that. It's not a personification of anything negative. It's just maybe disrespect, and then we quickly come back, and then that kind of thing. It's not something so negatively that we show or portray. Saira.
Sister Jenny, you.
Yeah, Sairam. I actually can't see the screen, but I can read from what I have. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, we've come to the end now. I got this abstract from Reverend Connie Habesh's works. I have quoted her before in our satsangs. So anyway, I will just go straight to what she wrote. I only picked up part of it, not the whole thing. So it's the awakening self, and she says, if you have ever walked a labyrinth, you know that you might walk right next to someone, yet they are on a totally different part of the labyrinth than you. You pass each other momentarily, but walk in opposite directions. One of you near the beginning of the labyrinth, and the other in the middle or near the end. You may not even know which one of you is closer to the center. Sometimes you appear to have reached the altar in the middle, and then the path winds away from it again. The process teaches us trust, patience, and staying focused on where your feet are right now. This is a reflection of life and the spiritual path. We encounter many people along our spiritual journey and a variety of strangers in day-to-day life. We might compare ourselves to them, making assumptions about how they look or where they are heading. Likewise, even in a yoga or meditation class, at a spiritual community, or meeting a great spiritual teacher, we will also be alongside others. Are they further along the path than me? Or am I more or less evolved? Can I measure up with those around me? The labyrinth reminds us that we really don't know where others are in the path of life. Even if they are on the meditation cushion next to you, internally and on their path of awakening, they may be in a very different place. Remember that it's okay wherever you are on that path right now. When we walk a labyrinth, our practice is to stay within ourselves with a quiet mind and focus on each step and the winding trail that we are on. Walk the labyrinth like a meditation. It doesn't matter what others are doing around us. It matters what is unfolding within us. And the labyrinth always takes us to the center and back out again. Follow your path. Don't worry about the path that anyone else is walking. Let go of judging others. And for you don't know what path they are on. Let go of comparing and judging yourself. This is just for you. You may tread alongside another for a while, but ultimately, your path is uniquely yours. Everyone is on a different part of the labyrinth, yet all the paths eventually lead to the center within. Yeah, this is the end of quoting from her. Yes, thank you, Om Saira. Yeah, I find it very meaningful, and very good practice for us, because we should not worry about what others are doing, but we should actually focus on ourselves, look within and take our own spiritual journey. Yeah. So
from all this much learned, and with my own experience, what I understood is when you do good, you will get good. When you do bad, you will get bad. So you have to focus on only good things. That's why Swami said, see good, be good, do good. So even the bad you can change into good. You don't just reject the bad. You can change the bad into good. So it's very simple, but very nicely put. You all have done it very nicely, so that all can understand it very well. Thank you so much. Saira.
Thank Saira. What do you all think of this? Do we learn something from here?
I find it very, very insightful. Yeah,
I think she's talking about the same thing what Swami has been telling, but in different quotation. But the thing is that she's saying that every individual has his own path of pace which he's going. And normally what happens that normally we start comparing, just thinking that where we are, because we live in a relative world. Like if I'm meditating and I cannot concentrate, then I will go and see, oh, that person can sit for 1 hour, 2 hours, something like that. So what she's trying to tell that we should not, we should learn how they are able to maintain it, but we should not compare ourselves with others, because once we start comparing means if something is wrong, yes, we should overcome it. But comparing means I have my own path, I have my own pace, I have my own way and for speed. So I will go my way. But why I'm going slow, I must learn. But we should not be comparing that, and be jealous or be very degrade ourselves that I'm slow, I'm bad, I'm not very good, or something like that. Because finally, we all will reach at the same destination. What she's saying, which Swami has said in his lot of discourses, and said that all paths leads to the same. That's why also she's saying that all the labyrinths reach to the center. So it's in a different context, but yes, it's just really she has written in a nice way. Later.
Thank you, Brother Manoj. Yeah, basically we are all different, and we are all on different spiritual level. So we although we may be learning together, but we may be understanding all this differently, because our level is such that maybe we may miss something or we may misunderstand something. But with this kind of satsang going on, we learn together, and it's very good. It's a very, we make very good progress, even though we may not be on the same level. Yeah. Sairam.
Yeah. One point is while the message is not to compare, but I think one level of comparison we must make. That is, we make a comparison with our own selves. When we do something, you say, yesterday, what was I? Today, I'm better. Tomorrow. So we all the time create a better version of ourselves by comparing with the past. In this way, we also acknowledge the progress. We also acknowledge the progression that we are making. And by we acknowledge the progress, we also accept that. That is a very satisfying and rewarding thing also. Many people progress very well, but they don't think that they're progressing because they never made a comparison. Just in the Gita session we had in Chicago, there was this young, now we are, next week we are going there to Chicago for a retreat. And so what we are doing is we are making use of all the facilitators in our workshops that we have had all these years. They will become facilitators in that session that we're having. So what we're doing now is one of the boys, one of the youth came forward, and he said that, I don't think that I'm progressing. I think I'm ordinary and normal, and I'm not sure that I'm doing that. Then I said, what is a sadhana that you do? So he said, every morning, I said, at least I spend 20, 30 minutes in praying. He said, I do prayers 30 minutes, 20 minutes prayers every morning. Okay, so how do you know that you're not how do you know that you're not progressing? So he said, no, I don't see anything happening and all that. Okay, let me ask you a simple question. How many youth of your, you are one and there are just 2 or 3 others, or most of them are adults. Why are the other youth not coming together? Why are they not here? Why are they not? Why are you here? Why are you coming every week and now you're taking charge of the whole program? Why you think that's happening? Then he said, no, yeah, because the fact that you're doing your sadhana regularly, consistently, you're doing it. Today you have the patience to sit, you patience to listen, patience to undertake, and patience to organize. And you're managing the whole retreat now and getting so many things done. Why don't you think that is a progression? And he said, I didn't think like that. Why don't you think like that? The fact is, when you're doing the sadhana, there is an effect on you. And that effect on you is what is making you have the aptitude, the patience, and the Atma is yearning to know. So if you're not even acknowledging that progression, then how will you acknowledge whatever that's going to happen? So the thing is, we need to continuously make evaluation. Hey, last year I was not like this. Now I'm like that. Last year I never even bothered to read a book. Today I'm reading more and more books. Hey, last year the satsangs, I mean the meditation session, I'm even didn't sit so long, but today I'm sitting longer and longer. So what's happening? There is an expansion of consciousness. So when the expansion of consciousness takes place, it is important for us to acknowledge, because that consciousness in itself is divine. And if you are not even acknowledging that divine consciousness, then how do you acknowledge divine when it comes? So the thing is, it is to become aware of this. It is very critical, very important. Awareness is the single most reason. When you have that, you start knowing things, noting things, connecting the dots, becoming more and more insightful, developing foresightedness. All these are attributes that we must continuously develop as a result of our activity, as a result of our inner comparisons within our own selves. So like what Sabitan said just now, after some time, it doesn't make us angry anymore. That is a progress. That progression must be known. Last time that used to irritate us. Now the same person is talking, but there's no irritation on myself. So he continues his talk, but I'm immunized by it and I'm not getting angry. That is progression. And that progression means that we have matured, we have expanded our consciousness. So my life is my message. Swami said, expansion is my life. So the whole secret is keep on expanding, 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 expanding. The awareness to a point whereby that even divine, when we realize our own divine nature, we realize this, that realization that we have become. So the river will never know when it's flowing, flowing, flowing. But when the river reaches the ocean, the river doesn't know it reaches the ocean. It just shook like that. That is why Swami said one beautiful line, and like Sister Jeannie asked, being is lost in the becoming. Now what we should do, becoming should be lost in the being. We should reverse it. There Swami said, being is lost in the becoming. But now the becoming that we have become should slowly lose itself and go back to the being. That journey is now, this being, becoming is pravarti marga. Becoming, losing itself and becoming being is nivarti marga. So this is the 2 margas that is now defining our lives, you see. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
brother.
I still remember that when we were in school, we had a drama. But the drama title was "I Want My Money Back," where a student goes to the principal and brings him to the court and says that I spent so much of money, so much my time studying for 12 years in the school, and I'm not able to earn food and I'm not able to get a job. So I want the school to return my money and time. So this drama was acted very nicely, where the school tried to fool him that by bringing history teacher, mathematics teacher, and everything, that he has gained something. So all this thing was going on, and finally, what happened that still he was adamant. Then and he went to the church and And then all these places that I've spent time in church and everything, you should give my time back and everything. It was a very interesting demo we did. And finally, one farmer stood up and he said, for 40 years, I've been working in my field. All I know is that my wife, she cooked food for me every morning. And when I came back, she delivered a very nice dinner for me. I don't know whether she deserved any salary or her time was wasted on me. But only thing I know that the food she gave me energy to work in the. And so I don't think anybody has a right to claim money from the school or the church or something like that, because he has been already paid in the dividend of working and being a healthy body. So that's what Suresh was saying, that we should be always thankful to what we have and not to worry about what we don't have. And once we start thinking in those ways, I think life becomes very fulfilling, and we don't feel dissatisfied in any situation. And that is what we have to, Swami has been telling, because I still remember that when Swami's story that with one pair of clothes and same rasam and ragi bowl, he used to cook for his grandfather, run to school, come back, give food to the grandfather, and go back to school again and come back in the evening and cook the same food. But today, if we get a food which is a home food, children want to go to restaurants. If you don't go to restaurant, they want a different restaurant. They want American, Mexican, and so many things. So just think how Swami lived his life. And it was such a fulfilling life for him that even the rasam he used to make, the villagers will come smelling the rasam and say that, Satya, just give me a rasam because it cured my stomach ache or something like that. Finally, at the end, it so happened that tumblers used to line up in front of Swami's house for getting cured. So just think that even in those situations also, Swami lived a life which is so fulfilling and which is so enriching for the others. So I think if we focus on what we have, we will not be able to have this feeling of unsatisfaction, and we live a very happy life.
Yeah, Sairam, what Brother Suresh said just now is correct, that I know we must not compare ourselves with others, but we must compare ourselves to ourselves, this is like doing self-audit. So yeah, only when we compare ourselves to ourselves that we know where we stand, where we really stand, whether we have improved or not. Yeah, so yes, that's what I wanted to say. Yes.
Yeah, I just can't help but share something I bumped into today in the morning when I think I was about to drive, and then I just watched this one video just before I took the car, and I think it was a satsang, and one of the brothers was saying that Swami says that there's only one way to know if you are actually progressing in your spiritual journey is the way is if you have more love, if you develop more love within yourself and through your action, words, and deeds, and also you become the humility increases as well. So you become more humble and you become more kind and less of a weak tendencies. So these are the two benchmarks that we can use to actually measure our progress. Sarah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yes.
Saram, can I share something?
Ganesh.
Yeah. In terms of whether we compare with others, I think that if we have a discipline and have some clear headspace in our thought process, we can endeavor to compare some aspects of ourselves with others, because it sets a benchmark for us to be inspired. There's many ways of actually evaluating how we can compare ourselves with others. I think it's very easy to turn it to become very negative. So I think that's why the encouragement is not to do that. But I think with the right discipline and with the right focus instilled, I think it's a good constant way of improving ourselves. Like, for example, in my own life, I constantly compare in terms of how my wife responds to a situation, or how I would respond, or my parents would respond. And it's an opportunity to be inspired, and it's a constant benchmark to keep improving ourselves, So I think there is opportunity to use this wisely and effectively. I mean, that's my point of view. Thank you, Sarah.
Saram, I would like to share something. I think comparing ourselves is good, I mean, there should be competition. Even if we look at in Prashanti Nilayam, and Swami boys, they all come out and all that. When they graduate, they have the they have their classes of graduation. They have the best student and all this. And Swami also said that it's not that he wants us to compare with each other. He wants us to be united in that way, so that our spiritual friends, our friends will be our spiritual friends, and they will somehow also guide us towards spirituality. And even in the most amazing part is in Prashanti, where these boys, you see, these boys are actually, when they have sports and all that, right, when they win and then they get medal, they get gold prize, and then if they are the best student, they are the best and all that, And Swami also said that it's not that he loves that student more than the other student. It's just that that student have put in more effort in learning and in becoming the best student of all, number one. So the grace is the same for all. It's just that competition so is necessary lah. I mean, even in singing in bhajan and whatnot, not to compete with each other, but to have the passion for it lah, passion for spirituality. I mean, the hunger for spirituality must be there lah. Saram.
Yeah. Well, they're one of the reasons for one of the methodology of spiritual progression is this concept of satsang. Concept of, and somebody said satsang is the ferry boat that can take you across the ocean of samsara. So satsang is where you have a sangha of the sat, which is a group of people who's all aspiring towards the sat, which is the truth. So when we are in a fraternity group like this, for example, if you go to the library and you are studying and you see all the other people also studying, and you get tired, then you raise your head up, and then you see all other people's heads are still hovering over the books. That motivates you to go back again to your book. The library becomes a conducive environment for us to deepen our earnestness to study. In the same manner, when we are with a group of people, all aspiring towards the Sat, we find that certain people have a certain higher aspiration or certain dedication that they are doing, a certain commitment that they are possessing. Then we have a mental evaluation that, hey, how is it that that person is doing it? How come we are not having it? So what is it making him do this? And why is it that it's not happening? So invariably, that's satsang, objectivity of the satsang is to rub off that positivity on us, not in the spirit of competition, but this is how the spirituality can only go forward if we have a group. That's why they got Gurukulam. That is why, otherwise spirituality we can do it in our own bedroom. Why we have an organization? Why we have center, Sai Center? What's the necessity for a group of people to come together? What's the necessity for this satsang? A group of people to come together. It's not for any other reason, because that is the methodology to go there. Why? Because ultimately our objective is to get to the Atma. But you have your mind, I have my mind. Our whole job is to pick up the points from the different minds, polish up ourselves, and slowly, slowly help not just to transform, but to transcend to achieve the Atma. So that means all of you are very critical to establish my connection to my Atma. So likewise, vice versa. So yes, so in that sense, the spirit of the satsang is to be, spirit of fraternity is to become a very effective methodology to see. So whenever you go to people's place or whenever we see, we evaluate, we observe, my God, look at the dedication, look at the comment, look at the how they are so everything also they are dedicated like that. So pick up, we have to polish up this thing and pick up like that so that we also get sufficiently inspired to continue the journey. And then all of us need each other, because you know why? In a human, the reason why we come into the examination hall is because we have failed in the previous exam. Otherwise, why we don't need earth, we don't need life, we don't need world. The fact that we have all here means each of us will have some degree of flaws. But the reason why we are here collectively is that the flaw that I have, you may have an answer, and your flaw, I may have an answer in my life. So that's why we pick up each other and learn from each other. So we polish up all the weaknesses and collectively walk towards God. So that is why we are, that is why Swami said, never leave my organization. Swami said, never leave my organization. That means whether I'm created the system is for you to learn from each other, but whatever happens, don't leave. Of course.
Yeah. I think in the Sanskrit shloka, which you all know, it is in a Krishna Yajurveda of the three Upanishad, where we all must have heard that Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Sa Viryam Karvavahe, Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishava. So here the teacher and the student, they are both praying together to God, not only one. And both are getting, and they are saying that God may protect both of us. Sahana Bhavatu. May and Sahana Bhunaktu. May God nourishes both of us. And then he says, Sah Viryam Karvav hai. May we both work together with energy and vigor. Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Mat Vidishat. Because so that we study to be intelligent, but at the last word says, Ma vid vishavahe, and should not give rise to hostility. So in our life, daily life, our actions should be so that all those who come to us may grow together and there is no hostility. So this is very important because we can come, the teachers is asking from and the student. So both are growing. It's not that only the teacher is growing, student is growing, teacher is also. And both come together and asking from God for that effulgence of the knowledge. And at the same time, they are not comparing each other. There is no ill feeling with each other that here you have progressed, I have not progressed, whether you have done good or not good. So that's a ma vid vishavahe. That word is very, very critical here, that we may grow together and there should be no hostility. Saira.
Yeah, yes. Actually, so when we compare to self-improve and to progress. Yeah, that's the idea of comparing. Otherwise, yeah. Sairam, thank you.
Okay. So we've come to the end of this group, Billy. Is there any next group is which one?
Okay. Next week we will go into the other 4 topics. Group 1 will discuss on karma of egoistic delusion. There's on page 7 of the Satsang materials. Those of you who have not received, I hope all of you have received the material. We will post it into the Nurturing Spiritual Growth WhatsApp group, okay? You have not joined the group and you will receive the material. Then group 2 will talk about believing in Mithya, you are giving up Satya. And group 3 will be the cosmic consciousness, and group 4 will be conscience is a part of consciousness. Okay, so it's good that we all of us read up this material and then we come with ideas to share. Okay. And with that, okay, now, okay.
Billy, once again, you know the Shivaratri study cycle, this study cycle is this is one full topic, that is the one full lecture. And this entire lecture is about the Atmic. It's very deep. This study cycle selected material is very, very deep subject. Many times they have to go through to see the depth of this. this requires really careful learning. And you see, Shivaratri is last February, and now we are picking it up in September, you see. So this is how slow, and that is how I think we should do, very slowly cover each one. But please take note, read slowly this one, underline those parts of it, contemplate on those words, because this is really deep exercise for us to read. This Swami gave in this one lecture, in one whole discourse on Shivaratri, on Shivaratri day, on Atma.
So what you're saying, that all these topics are actually linked.
Yeah, all linked. Everyone is linked. Well, the first one is linked to the second one linked to third, and it has got a flow. That's why it's good to read, so that when you don't just read your portion, read the whole text. Anyway, it's less one talk. Then as you talk, when the first group is doing, you will see the excitement in you, because you will see the connection that you are going to bring to the second. So all of us is like 4 parts of a play, and you're doing scene 1, we are doing scene 2, the other group is doing scene 3, like that. It must be like that.
Okay.
Very good. Very good. Thanks.
Yeah, so Dr. Sabitan, you'd like to talk about this?
Thank you, Brother Billy, for giving me the opportunity. So Sairam, everyone, we will be having a retreat for those of you who'd like to, if you're struggling with meditation and if you'd like to really enhance your meditative practice, we are having this silent retreat at Broga Bliss. Broga Bliss is has been our common place to go, because it's the retreat center is located in the middle of nature, and it's so peaceful in the morning, and the setting is also wonderful. There's some water activities as well. So this will be from the 6th to the 8th of September. We have only a few more spots left, so please don't miss this opportunity and sign up. And this time we're going to focus more on how we can develop self-love, self-kindness, and also compassion. So this is always an obstacle for many meditators, and so far a lot of us are finding it difficult, because we tend to harbor a lot of these negative tendencies and past traumas and judgments, criticism about ourselves, and this can be an obstacle for us to let go. So that is why in this retreat, we will be focusing on self-love, kindness, and compassion. So hope to see all of you there. If you need, there's the registration link is already in the chat. You can just go to the chat and click it. And my number and also Sister Anushka's number is also here. You can also contact Brother Billy if you'd like to know more about the retreat. Okay, thank you so much.
Will you be recording the session or just a practical session?
It's a face-to-face session, actually. It's a physical session.
Physical session.
In fact, this is the second time that we are having this silent retreat.
Yeah, during this retreat, you will not be able to use your handphones and all your gadgets, and we will focus on how we can silence the mind as well. So we focus on practices which cultivate silence as well. So most of us will have to spend time with ourselves, and with of course with the benefits of with the added benefits of nature alongside our practice.
There's also a small swimming pool there, and there'll be some very unique water items and items in the water.
Also,
anything else before?
Like monitor lizard, is it?
Yeah.
Some special water programs.
Also the retreat, National Spiritual Camp. Billy, you're not announcing that?
Yeah, National Spirit. I didn't come out with the Yeah, we're having a national spiritual camp on the 31st of August and 1st of September. This will be in the Asia Pacific University, where we have invited Brother Arvind, formerly of Radio Side, to be one of the main speaker there. So it'll be a very exciting program, okay, from 9 in the morning. It's a 1.5 days program. So I understand that the registration has been closed. You are aware of that, Brother Ganesh? Anyone in the registration team? Okay. But we can still try to admit you if you contact us. Okay, just a recap. Okay, every Monday morning we have got this Monday morning meditation, which starts at 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. in the morning to 6:30 a.m. every Monday morning. So this is we have about 40 people now coming together online to do the light meditation. And then we have got every Tuesday we have got the Satsang, okay? And every Monday morning, Dr. Suresh in UK, is it in US or US you're having your Satsang as well, right?
Yeah, every first Monday of every month, we have the Gita Vahini.
I see. And that is recorded, and you will find the recording in our Nurturing Spiritual Growth WhatsApp group. I think today we have posted one there.
It's good to follow up that one, because that group, we do a lot. Before that session, there are hours and hours of planning and really looking at different modality to convey the subtle truth. That one Gita sloka, which talks about the description of the Atma, we have just one sloka. We have taken 5 months now, just on that one sloka. Every month, one attribute. So it was very deep session. So I would suggest that since so much work has been done to develop that you all should read, you all should see the podcast, not podcast, the entire session which has been recorded and dramatized and all that. So it'll be nice learning to see that, because our entire intention now, I've told, as I was mentioning, that it's no more just to talk about, the values all nice, it's good and all that, but it's more of transcendence. We have to aspire for that. The aspiration for that is, once you have such a yearning, strong aspiration for that, the system will help you to conducively connect to those higher elements and help us to evolve faster. So there's more vigorous training of the mind to shut it down, so that we can transcend. This whole exercise that we're doing is Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi means we have to clarify. That's why just now we talked about the discrimination, right? So how to develop the discrimination is, yes, Atma Vichara. All that is what we are doing is, we are just cleansing the mind until a point where it doesn't exist anymore. Once the veil is opened up, you will find glimpses into the Atma. And that is the entire objectivity of this spiritual path that we have taken. That's why as we are walking, the 8-lane road will become 6 lane, 6 lane become 3, 3 become 2, 2 become 1, and the road will become steeper. So as you go along, the lane road will become steeper. Then as it keeps on going, the road even will become a small lane. That lane will become slippery. After that, it will become a rope. Then it will become a string, and you're supposed to walk on that string. So the dexterity in our system must become sharper and sharper. So it's a journey, and it's collectively done. It'll be easier. So please read those. Please look at those Gita thing, and join us also on first Monday of every month for that Gita sessions that we have for US.
Okay, then every Friday morning we have got this light meditation, but this is in the Mandarin language. And then we just had the workshop on the what it calls seminar on the joy and challenges of parenting. We have got it touched 103 participants. Okay, very good feedback from the participants, and we have many non-Sai devotees who have registered for this. We will be posting this, the video of this, in our Nurturing Parenting group. Okay, and our National Sadhana camp start on this Saturday on the 31st. Okay, sorry, not today is it's next week actually. Next week on the start on a Saturday, then ends on a Sunday. Okay. So with that, okay. Any
Billy, we have the silent Saturdays on the first and third Saturday of every month.
Yeah, first and third Saturday, at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, we have got a silent meditation where you come and join in to share in the operation.
Really, I suggest this timetable. I suggest to send to every center spiritual coordinator in our zone, not only in our country, in every zone. Everybody should know this entire timetable so that they can plug in, is it?
Yeah. So we will update these.
Send to all the NCPs, send to all the,
Yep.
And then one more thing we'll be having is, Brother Manoj, I think maybe that in conjunction with Avatar Declaration Day, this group, we will be having a zonal spiritual conference, zonal spiritual seminar, a virtual one, not of course virtual one, which we will show you, we'll tell about the highlights of that subsequently.
So anything else, Dr. Suresh?
No, I think we are okay. Thank you. Sairam, till we meet again. Good night, Sairam.
Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Saram. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Sairam.
Thank you.
Sairam,
Brother.
thank you.
Good night.
Sairam, good night. Sairam, thank you.
Saram.